In 1812, Napoleon's Grande Armée, over 500,000 strong, marched into Russia, armed with the best weapons and led by brilliant generals. But their greatest enemy wasn't Russian soldiers. It was the cold. As winter set in, temperatures plunged. Thin wool coats and frozen boots offered little protection. Thousands died, not from battle, but from hypothermia, frozen in the snow. Napoleon's defeat was a lesson. Military might means nothing if you ignore the power of nature. Meanwhile, in Siberia, indigenous hunters like the Evenki and Nenets thrived in the same brutal cold. They didn't have supply chains or modern textiles. They had knowledge. They understood the cold as a deadly force, not just an inconvenience. Their secret? The hunter's cocoon, a complete sleeping system perfected over centuries. While soldiers shivered under blankets, hunters slept warmly, protected by a system designed for survival. The difference wasn't bravery or strength. It was understanding and tools. The cocoon wasn't just equipment, it was a philosophy of survival. It allowed them to rest, recover, and live in harmony with the harshest environment on Earth. The lesson is clear. Respect the environment, or it will defeat you. The hunter's cocoon wasn't a single item. It was a layered system, a portable nest against winter's worst. Built from animal hides and furs, it protected against two killers: heat loss to the air and to the ground. The outer layer blocked wind and snow. The inner fur trapped body heat. The thick base separated the sleeper from frozen earth. Unlike a simple blanket, this system let hunters sleep, recover, and survive for weeks in the wild. Every layer had a purpose, working together to create a warm, self-contained shelter. The cocoon was born from necessity and deep observation of nature. It's proof that the best survival tools work with nature, not against it. For Siberian hunters, a good night's sleep was a matter of life and death, and the cocoon made it possible. Cold isn't just uncomfortable, it's a silent, relentless enemy. Armies like Napoleon's and those in the Korean War learned this too late. Cold kills as surely as any weapon. The human body is a furnace, but in winter heat is stolen away by air, convection, and ground, conduction. Wool coats slow the wind, but lying on frozen ground is fatal. Heat drains away fast. Many soldiers died in their sleep, not from wounds, but because the earth robbed them of warmth. The key lesson: cold is an active threat, not a passive hardship. To survive, you need a defense, a barrier against both air and ground. Siberian hunters saw the ground and wind as enemies and built their cocoon to fight both. Their system was proactive, not just reactive. They didn't just endure the cold, they defeated it. The difference was mindset. Treat cold as a weapon, and you build a real defense. The cocoon was that defense, designed for survival, not just comfort. It's a lesson armies ignored at their peril. The cold is patient, and by the time you feel its effects, it's often too late. The cocoon's genius was in seeing the cold as an enemy to outsmart, not just endure. Indigenous peoples of the taiga had no factories, just forests, animals, and wisdom. They chose reindeer and caribou hides for a reason. Hollow hairs trap air, making them superb insulators. The cocoon started with a thick hide base, fur side down, often layered with dry grass or boughs for extra lift and insulation. On top, a fur-lined sleeping bag, softest furs inside, tough hides outside to block wind and shed snow. Hunters wore fur clothing inside the cocoon, creating multiple layers of defense. In harsh weather, a waterproof hide covered the whole system, forming a personal tent. The design was modular. Damaged parts could be replaced or dried by the fire. Unlike a single blanket, the cocoon was adaptable, repairable, and perfectly suited to its environment. It was a sophisticated technology, born from necessity and refined by generations. The cocoon's success was rooted in two principles: insulation and ground separation. Insulation means trapping still air to slow heat loss. Hollow fur hairs excel at this. The cocoon's fur layers created a stable pocket of warm air, far superior to a wool blanket. But insulation alone isn't enough. Ground separation is critical. The earth is a massive heat sink. Lie on it, and it steals your warmth fast. The cocoon's thick base of hides and boughs stopped this conduction cold. Napoleon's soldiers froze because they slept on thin blankets over snow. Hunters slept on thick, insulating mattresses. The lesson: trap air to insulate and always separate yourself from the ground. The cocoon mastered both, ensuring warmth even in the harshest cold. These principles are the foundation of all effective cold weather survival. If the cocoon was so effective, why didn't armies adopt it? The answer: arrogance, rigidity, and cultural blindness. European militaries dismissed indigenous knowledge as primitive, favouring mass-produced, standardised gear. The cocoon was artisanal, tailored to the environment, not something you could issue to 500,000 soldiers. Armies valued uniformity over innovation, even if it meant inferior equipment. Soldiers were expected to endure hardship. Comfort was secondary to strategy. Hunters, by contrast, relied on personal skill and constant refinement. Survival depended on it. This institutional blindness led to repeated tragedies, as generals ignored the environment as an active threat. The knowledge to survive existed, but it was overlooked because it didn't fit the military model. The cost was measured in countless lives lost to the cold. The wisdom of the cocoon spread slowly, not through armies, but through frontiersmen and explorers. Fur traders and trappers responsible for their own survival learned from indigenous peoples. They adopted layered clothing and, crucially, the practice of insulating themselves from the ground. By the 20th century, brutal wars forced militaries to study cold weather survival. Modern sleeping bags and pads are direct descendants of the cocoon, trap air for insulation, separate from the ground. Materials changed, but the principles remained. Today's backpackers follow the same ritual: ground sheet, pad, sleeping bag. The ancient wisdom of the cocoon lives on in every modern cold-weather camp. The hunter's cocoon isn't just history, it's a survival lesson for today. The key: apply principles, not just buy gear. Even the best sleeping bag fails if you skip the pad. Ground separation is vital. Your cold weather sleep system must have two parts: insulation, sleeping bag, and ground separation pad. Layer your clothing too: base to wick moisture, mid-layer to insulate, shell to block wind and rain. Adapt your layers to conditions. Moisture kills insulation. Most important, respect the environment and keep learning. The Cocoon teaches that survival is about knowledge, preparation and humility before nature. Don't just own gear, understand why it works. In the end, survival belongs to those who learn, adapt, and respect the timeless power of the natural world. Thanks for exploring the hidden science of survival with us. If you found these lessons helpful, or if you just love a good story from the wild, don't forget to subscribe and join our growing community of adventurers. Hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss a tip that could make all the difference on your next journey. Got your own survival hacks or stories? Drop them in the comments below. We love hearing from you. Until next time, stay curious, stay prepared, and keep pushing your boundaries. See you on the next adventure.